Modern life is noisy, chaotic, and full of distractions. We chase productivity hacks, download endless apps, and still wonder why our attention feels fragmented. But ancient warriors, philosophers, and monks mastered something deeper, an unshakable mental clarity forged through discipline, ritual, and purpose. In this video, we explore forgotten techniques of focus, how Spartan warriors trained their minds as hard as their bodies, how Stoic philosophers sharpened attention through deliberate hardship, and how Eastern martial traditions cultivated inner stillness under extreme pressure. These weren't life hacks, they were life or death skills. Discover how to reclaim this level of presence and mental strength in your own life. What the ancients knew isn't lost, it's waiting for you to remember. We live in an age of endless noise, pings, notifications, breaking news alerts, constant pressure to stay connected. But what if connection isn't the same as awareness? What if the ancients, people who lived without smartphones, social media, or even printed books, actually had a sharper, more disciplined kind of focus than we do today? Across every ancient civilization, Greek philosophers, Roman generals, samurai in feudal Japan, desert monks in Egypt, there was one shared obsession: mastering the mind. They believed the greatest battles weren't fought on distant fields with swords and spears, but inside the human soul. Focus wasn't something you hoped for. It was something you trained like a muscle, forged through deliberate rituals, silence, and struggle. Today, we'll uncover 5 powerful ways ancient minds cultivated laser-like concentration, methods that made them unshakable under chaos, fearless under pressure, and deeply present in every moment. And here's the twist: you can use them too. In ancient Athens, public life was vibrant and loud, but philosophers like Pythagoras and later Marcus Aurelius sought intentional silence. For them, silence wasn't the absence of sound. It was a weapon against mental clutter. Monks in the Egyptian desert would go months without speaking to sharpen their inner perception. Samurai warriors trained in meditation halls where even a cough was considered a sign of a restless mind. Modern science agrees. Silence isn't passive. It literally rebuilds your brain. Studies show that 2 hours of quiet can stimulate the growth of new brain cells in the hippocampus, the area linked to learning and memory. Ancient people didn't have neuroscience, but they knew intuitively that the mind needs space to regenerate. They practiced morning silence rituals, no talking until after sunrise prayers or meditation, sacred listening, treating every sound as important rather than background noise, speech fasting, voluntarily refraining from unnecessary words to preserve energy and clarity. Ancient silence wasn't empty, it was full of strength. The ancients understood something we've mostly forgotten: the body is not separate from the mind. Roman legionaries drilled relentlessly, not just to stay fit, but because physical discipline forged mental toughness. Spartan warriors trained barefoot to make every step intentional. Shaolin monks developed forms that were as much about controlling thought as mastering combat. Even philosophers followed physical regimens. Socrates walked miles daily through the Athenian agora, thinking deeply as he moved. The Stoics encouraged cold exposure and fasting, not as punishment, but as deliberate exercises to remind the mind that discomfort doesn't control you. By linking movement to thought, they discovered a secret: when the body learns to endure stress calmly, the mind naturally follows. Today, research confirms that regular, challenging physical practice improves cognitive control, decision-making, and sustained attention. Ancient training wasn't workout culture. It was mental engineering disguised as physical discipline. In almost every ancient culture, focus wasn't just practical, it was sacred. Early Christians practiced lectio divina, slow, meditative reading, where one verse might be repeated for hours until it sank into the soul. Buddhists refined the art of single-pointed attention through breath meditation. Indigenous tribes used rhythmic drumming and dance to enter deep states of awareness. Why make attention spiritual? Because they believed what you give your attention to shapes who you are. Roman Stoics said, "You become what you think about." Hindu yogis taught that untrained attention leaves you enslaved to impulse and distraction. They built rituals to protect focus. Dawn and dusk, devotion. Daily anchors for reflection and gratitude. Mantras and chants, rhythmic sounds that tether wandering thoughts. Visual concentration. Staring at a flame or sacred symbol to train stillness. This wasn't self-care, it was self-mastery. Every prayer bead, every bell, every carved temple was a reminder that focus wasn't optional, it was life itself. Ancient warriors didn't just train their muscles, they tempered their minds like steel. Spartan boys were raised under the agoge, where every hardship, hunger, cold, exhaustion, wasn't punishment, but preparation. The mind had to be trained to remain calm while the body screamed. Roman legionaries could march for days in full armor, building not only endurance but unshakable mental resilience. Samurai spent as much time in meditation as in combat drills, learning to extinguish distracting thoughts before a fight even began. Why did they do this? Because battle punishes hesitation. In a shield wall or cavalry charge, fear or doubt spreads like fire. Mental focus wasn't just nice to have, it was survival. By rehearsing pain, uncertainty, and chaos daily, ancient soldiers made focus their default. But imagine if you built that same unbreakable core, a mind that doesn't shatter under stress, a mind that sees clearly when others panic. That's what ancient training forged. You're probably not marching to war at dawn or waiting in a forest ambush, but the same mental weapons those warriors carried can still be forged today, without a sword or shield. The key is intentional challenge. Stop chasing comfort at all costs. Build friction into your day. Wake up earlier than you want to. Train your body until it protests. Practice deep work without a phone in reach. These aren't self-help tricks. They're deliberate exercises to make your attention battle-ready. Monks, samurai, and knights shared something deeper than discipline. They knew focus is sacred. They treated every task, from sharpening a blade to copying a manuscript, as a ritual of presence. You can bring that same intensity into your work, studies, or creative projects. When you choose to focus, choose fully. No divided attention, no passive scrolling, no constant escape to distraction. Ancient training wasn't about nostalgia. It was about survival. Today, it's about thriving in a noisy, scattered world. The good news? You don't need to join a monastery or live in a Spartan barracks to build this. You just need to borrow their mindset. Make difficulty your ally, treat discipline as a craft, and train your focus as if your life depended on it. Because in a way, your future does. Focus isn't something you stumble upon, it's something you forge. The ancients didn't wait for clarity to arrive like sunlight through a window. They carved it from darkness. Through ritual, discipline, and a willingness to endure discomfort, they trained their minds as fiercely as their bodies. Today, your distractions won't kill you in battle, but they quietly erode your purpose. You don't need to copy every ancient practice, but you can borrow their mindset. Treat attention as sacred. Build routines that sharpen rather than scatter you. Remember that true strength isn't in constant motion, but in controlled direction. The world will always try to steal your focus. The question is, will you give it away, or will you guard it like your life depends on it? Because in a way, it still does.